The last few months of Beyblade X releases have been crazy and wallet draining. Samurai Saber, Night Mail, Impact Drake, and more released in the last 2 months of 2024. Well, today we just got the reveal of the first bays of 2025. One of them is the Beyblade version of a Pokemon, the next being yet another Drake, and most mysteriously, a major teaser for the upcoming CX lineup. So hit that like button and hit subscribe to join the Nook Nation because we're so close to hitting 350,000 subscribers, but let's talk Beyblade news. The first bay we're going to talk about is the one that I feel people will care about the least, or it just won't be as memorable, and that is the new ROCK GOLEM. UX13 ROCK GOLEM is a new defense type made up of some pretty odd parts and weird colors, and I don't really know how to feel about it. Let's just start with the parts first, beginning with the bit, which is UN or under needle. This is a brand new part, and it's basically just low needle, but they gave it a different name for some reason. What's kind of interesting is that Takara Tomy, or Koro, tried to showcase a comparison of needle versus under needle, but this is not needle, okay? This is high needle, but they don't say that, and I don't know if this was a mistake or maybe it's false advertising, but this comparison they're making is pretty much moot because they showed the wrong part, and it makes the differences seem way more extreme when really they aren't. Let me know what you think in the comments. The ratchet for Golem is 160 in a bright orange and clear color, and 160 is good. It has a lot of uses for a lot of competitive combos, but I would like to have seen a new part here, or even just 170 at least. I don't think we have 170 yet, and this would have been perfect, but it's 160 and it's good at least. If you guys want to get any of these new 2025 releases, make sure to go and check out sponsor the channel Mall of Toys. They're going to have pre-orders for the new Shelter Drake and ROCK GOLEM up pretty soon. Go and check them out, link in the description down below, and make sure to use code ilinnuc to get 5% off. Now let's move on to the blade of Golem, which is easily the most interesting part, and I still don't know how to feel about it. Looking at the design first, it has a pretty nice geometric look to it with all the shapes and triangles. It does look really cool. It also looks pretty chunky as well. Takara Tomy actually showcased ROCK GOLEM just very briefly in one of their recent official channel videos. It looks to be pretty bulky and thick. What? But it looked pretty chunky, and it was also pretty noticeable on this wide view of a bunch of X bays. It could also stand out to me just because it's new, but the mixture of orange and blue acts as a unique clue when looking at the overview. Bars. The shape is a bit worrying though. The top-down view of Golem is very similar to Night Lance, which isn't one of my favorite bays, and I barely see anybody use it in tournaments, but Night Lance did release a long time ago, and Golem looks a lot heavier, a lot chunkier, and maybe it'll be similar to Night Mail, where it's too jagged for defense, but you can get some good attack combos out of it. This bay does release on January 25th, so we don't have to wait for that long. Next up, we have the reveal of yet another Drake. BX39 Shelter Drake is a random booster select, which is kind of confusing because we just got Impact Drake like 2 weeks ago. Shelter is also a BX release that looks a lot more similar to the other Bakuten-inspired bays like Vice Tiger and Garuda, which is a bit worrying because those bays aren't the best performers, at least in the competitive meta, so I'm a little worried about this one. The parts are also not very inspiring. Starting with the bit, we have a reddish-orange color of GP, or Gear Point. This was originally seen on Unicorn Sting, like over a year ago. I don't really have much to say about it. I don't really use it that much, but I think there are some people that like it. I don't really care. The ratchet is a little bit more interesting as it's new with 780. Now, we've had the 7-sided ratchets released before, like 760 on Leon Crest, 770 with the Night Mail set, so now we can finally round out the trio. And while 780 isn't the most exciting part, it is a newer one, so that's something. Takara Tomy even pushed using 780 from Shelter with Impact Drake, and I don't know if that'll make a good combo, but it's worth a try. And now we can finally move on to the blade itself, which is really interesting. I mean, I love the shape. It's a very classic two-bladed shape. It really reminds me of early Metal Fight or even HMS a little bit. The one major thing I'm worried about, though, is the weight. I don't think weight is everything, but the other Bakuten-inspired bays like Vice and Garuda just don't weigh that much, and there are heavier bays with better shapes, so why not just use those? So I'm really worried about Shelter. It kind of looks like it'll be 34 or 35 max, so I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm also interested to see what you guys think about the gear chip design. It's a front-facing red dragon with the Bakuten logo right on its forehead, and what's odd is that this red drake or red dragon is not the same dragon that's in Cobalt or Impact. They have completely different designs and different colors, so I assume Shelter is not used by Chrome. Takara Tomy may have teased the user of Shelter with a silhouette, and that silhouette is pretty similar to the design of Common Z, so maybe Seal comes back and uses Shelter because he was pretty close with Chrome, sort of. But what do you guys think? Our final bit of news is easily the most exciting, but the most mysterious out of the bunch. We got a full-page teaser of the upcoming CX lineup. I made a video about CX several months ago, and if you're not familiar, CX is the follow-up to the UX and BX lines. BX are simple bays with metal prongs like Shelter Drake and Dran Sword. UX are sort of deluxe BX bays. They have a special advertised feature and plastic prongs like you see on Dran Buster and Rock Golem. And this new CX lineup looks to be the biggest evolution to the Beyblade X system we've seen so far. I did some photoshopping on the picture to make it a bit clearer, and what we see is a Dran Sword shape with an opening right in the middle. So I believe we have almost a full confirmation that we're going to be getting more customization, but we don't know the extent and really how they're doing it. Several months ago, I collaborated with fellow creator Hertzburst to create a mock-up on what I think would be the future of the series and act as sort of a wish list to what I would like to see, and it's interesting how close we were. So here we have a two-bladed Dran Saber concept, and the design was based off of Union Achilles. That kind of had like these saber swords, and the Dran Saber idea didn't really come to fruition, although we did see a samurai saber that was also a two-bladed shape, so I'll take that as a win. This blade does have kind of that hybrid wheel system I was talking about earlier. The plastic piece, which has the gear chip, is actually able to separate from that top metal piece. The system upgrade prediction, though, seems to be pretty accurate. We have a larger metal ring, and that's what they're showing off in this teaser, and then an inner plastic core of some kind that we don't see. We just don't know what this inner core really looks like. I'm really hoping this ends up being the hybrid wheel system of Beyblade X. I just hope they don't go too far and make it to where these CX releases just completely destroy everything that came before it. I want them to be really simple. I am really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this CX system. Could we get a inner metal core and an outer plastic ring? Could we combine an inner metal core and an outer metal ring and create a super heavy combo? What are the limits here? Once again, I'm really excited to see what they do. I just hope they don't destroy everything that came before it. But what do you guys think of Rock Golem, Shelter Drake, and especially this new CX lineup? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Have fun and bay away.